we're back at it out in the camper. You'll have to ignore the noise from the heater. We have found out it's a good heater out here, so that's good. But today we're just going to start sanding down all this cabinets at the bottom. It's eventually all going to get redone, but probably not by spring. This top part up here, I'm going to redo all that for sure. Been researching Class B's a little bit, and I'm going to steal some ideas from them. And I'm going to use 80/20, so I'm going to order a bunch of 80/20 and make a new shelf that goes across here to put that slide out tray on for the air conditioner that I mentioned in the last video. So I'm going to leave this part alone, but we're going to go ahead and sand and paint all the lower cabinets for now. Then eventually we might use 80/20 and redo those as well, but that'll probably be at least next spring. But
maybe on the road at that point.
Yep. So for now, we'll go ahead and get started.
When you do this, are you going to try to even out the doors?
Yeah, so I'm going to probably get different types of hinges.
That does drive me nuts. Getting cold. You're shaking the whole camper.
Feels like it's the wrong idea driving by.
You can see your truck out the window. You're doing a good job.
Thank you, dear. Let's wait and see how it turns out.
Yeah, it'll turn out
Before we
fine.
judge.
It'll turn out good. Always does. At least we're not going anywhere right now. This is fixing time.
Yep. So, needing to sand all the way up to these edges, and then on this side of this is where all the switches and controls are. So I need to get all those off there, and I don't want to break them. So I'm going to take this top shelf off, see what the heck's in there, and how things come apart.
Well, it's off.
There it is. So here's all the switches that I got to get to. And for those of you interested, there's the wiring on the back and your piddly little radio wires, which we're having issues with this radio. Let's see if it works today.
Nope.
Yeah, it just quits working. And then you have to turn power completely off to it and back on, and then it'll start working again. Having said that, at night this thing is super bright and doesn't turn off. So I'm gonna get on the power wire, and then I'm gonna run a switch over to this side. That way we can just turn it off from the outside. Then we'll just turn it back on in the mornings when we're wanting it back on. So, gotta do that too. Okay, so I got all my sanding done. Wiped it down once, let it set till tomorrow, then I'll get a vacuum out here, vacuum all this dust up, and hopefully start painting. We'll at least get it primed, and then start making some final decisions on how we're going to paint this for sure. Well, we have somewhat of an idea doing a white turquoise combo. We'll see how it comes out. Alright, so I got the first coat of primer on. So let this dry for a few hours and I'll come out and decide if I'm doing a second coat of primer or just go ahead and slap some white paint on it. Since we're going white, probably doesn't matter as much. And this is kind of a temporary solution anyway, because eventually I'm going to redo all this with 80/20. But for now, we'll see how this turns out. I'll go ahead and pan around though and show you what I got so far.
Well, I was thinking, because you want contrast from that, do this whole wall this, but leave this white, so all this stays white. And then I was thinking, do that the same, so all this the same, but then leave the cabinet, this part white, but then the teal on the inside, and then do all white uppers.
Well, the uppers will be 80/20 frames, so you have the aluminum framing, and then we could do whatever colored doors.
Yeah.
So then instead of, where I was thinking white with turquoise trim, you're basically saying turquoise is the base with white trim.
Yes. Because you want, if you do just white here and here, it's going to look bland.
Okay.
So I want it to pop out. So then if you do those two there, and then you do the same underneath, but then leave the door, like you could do the doors white and then the teal underneath there, so you still have the white popping, and then just leave this white.
So do you want this whole front face white?
Yes. I was thinking white face here, because that looks good here. So that looks good together. Now we can debate on this side if we want to keep it white or not. But the white looks really good with this. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But the just white and that I think looks bland.
Okay.
So I think if you do that.
So it almost have like a backsplash effect.
Yes. So if you do that there and then do the, because then you still have white, so you're not doing everything this color.
Okay, so this whole front section where these cabinets are, do you want all of it turquoise?
Yes. Yes. So then you have white and turquoise. You know what I'm saying? And then, so this whole section could be white. And then do this all teal. And then have the white accent on the door, but then the inside part have the teal.
Okay.
Does that sound?
Yeah.
I think that would look good. Because then you get the contrast.
Okay, well I can get my sample out in a few.
Did we get a sample of this?
Yeah.
When did we do that?
A couple weeks ago.
Oh, I forgot. Well, then, yes.
So then I can get my sample out and see how far that goes.
Yeah, I would start here.
Some of this is wet, so be careful with your shirt.
It's not wet right here. I felt it. Yeah, so then you get the contrast on both sides.
Okay.
So, that's the plan, huh?
All right. I'll get to it.
Alright, well, stage one of the painting project is finally done. It's not perfect, mistakes were made, but good enough for now. Like we said, we're going to completely redo it later, so this is just kind of to get us on the road and brighten it up a little more than it was. So I'll take you inside and show you how it came out. So you can immediately see it's brighter. You can see we got the benches from being the dark wood color to the white, and then the two-tone that Shanna wanted across the kitchen. So up top you can still see the brown that it started, and then what it is now. So one of the things that didn't go as smooth as I'd like is these cabinet doors. So when we bought it, the doors sagged and they weren't even at all. So I was trying to fix that, which got it pretty close up here. But when I was mounting them, I got them all squared perfect, mounted the hinges, and then as soon as I took my clamps, I had them mounted, the hinges had enough sag that they just dropped. So they're really only held level by the lock mechanism that holds it shut. So holds for now. It'll still bug me over time, so I'm going to get better hinges and I'll redo that later. But for now it works, and I think it looks pretty good. So now that this is done, the question is what's next? Like we said before, we got to get this top shelf system ripped out of here and redo the air conditioner. But I'm going to have to order some stuff after Christmas to get all that going, which by the time this video's up, it'll probably be after Christmas, but currently it's a few days before. So in the meantime, what I'm thinking about doing is digging into the insulation project. So while we're waiting to do the air conditioner and the shelving over the counter here, the next step's probably going to be digging into this insulation. To do that, we got to rip this side panel off, see what's behind there to start, and then I'll have to spec out what all I'm going to have to buy.
And hope we don't break anything.
Would I break anything?
Yes, you would.
Nothing goes wrong. Eventually we'll have a project go smooth. But, so I'm going to take that apart, see what kind of insulation I need. That'll be next video. So, for now, I'm probably going to wrap it up. Because one thing we are going to do before we go further is figure out the weight. So we want to hook this up, go over to the cat scale, and I want to see what the camper weighs as is now that we've taken a few appliances out. And then once we re-insulate and start doing more upgrades, we'll kind of keep track of progress on what the weight is relative to what the camper can be, based off stickers and everything. But we'll try to track that process as good as we can. So in the meantime, we'll wrap this video up. Hope you enjoyed the chaos of it. And we will see you guys on the next one.